Yeah, there may have been a fire.
Excellent!
Hey guys, welcome back to Poor Boys RC. Just a quick review on the Tamiya MB-01 with the Alfa Romeo Giulia body. Thank you everybody for correcting me on that. I was wondering how to pronounce that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the running video. I know I put the thing through the paces at a skate park, and it's not a skate park vehicle. We did some Dukes of Hazzard jumps. We did some skids. It was a lot of fun. I mean, riding half pipes and driving one of these things through a giant bowl, like a skate park bowl thing. It's just a ton of fun. But I wanted to report back to you guys a few things that I discovered when driving this chassis. It is a newer chassis, not brand new anymore, but it's a new chassis. I mentioned in my original video, it's pretty sloppy, and it's very sloppy. And I think that's the biggest downside of this thing. And this isn't a video just to beat up on this chassis, but I feel I do have to kind of tell you guys the truth about it, and at least my experience with it. There's some pros, there's some cons. We're going to start with the cons first, though. This thing is sloppy. The front end is insanely sloppy. But the thing that got me the most, and again, in the running video, if you reference that, I'll put a link down below so you guys can watch it. It was actually a pretty fun video. I'm quite proud of it. I like how it turned out. But anyway, if you watch that video, it had rained that day, and the roads were quite wet. And the MB-01 was just sliding all over the place. I mean, I spent hours editing out all the little skids that I did because it just had no traction. Now, I am configured in the rear motor setup with the motor laying down. In the manual, it does say you can kick this up, have the motor up high, so you'll still keep rear wheel drive, but it provides better traction. I was weary about that. I'm thinking if I do that, I'm going to have a higher center of gravity. That motor weighs quite a bit. It's going to jack up the center of gravity. Now I'm going to be rolling over all the time. I didn't want to do that, so I laid it down. But boys, I'll tell you, this thing was skidding all over. It was really hard to keep straight, almost impossible to keep straight. And there's one shot that I took where I was just practicing with different shots, and I could see the rear wheels. It was a slow motion shot. I'll show it to you right here, and I could see the wheels in the rear start to toe in. And guys, like, it's just crazy how much slop there is in the front and the rear. This is the rear here. You can see this. So I'll tell you guys, I'm driving this thing, and it's just like the back end skirts here and skirts there because, you know, the toe just keeps changing. So in that sense, this chassis needs a lot of refinement. If you're going to get one of these, a lot of you guys mentioned to get the TT02, the steel balls that fit right up there. A lot of guys said get those, and I think that would be a really good upgrade, help soak up some of that slop. And then shim the heck out of this thing, might make it a little more drivable. Some of you guys even mentioned saying, hey, that could be a good speedrun challenge car. And I was thinking the same thing. It might be. But after trying to drive it, it's been canceled out. Unless someone can prove it to me otherwise, I don't think this is a good candidate. I don't think it's going to want to go very fast. The body being as thin as it is, a lot of you guys were asking, hey, how'd that body hold up? It actually held up pretty good. I'm surprised. I think I caused more damage just cutting it out than I did bashing the heck out of it. Mind you, I did reinforce the back with Shugu. I didn't reinforce the front. You can see a couple shots that I took in that running video, but it's just got good flexibility. It's still paper thin, but not really any additional damage, which is a good thing. Oh, but the heck's with that skid mark in there? What happened there, Phil? It smells like fire. Yes, indeed. It did catch on fire. I drove home, I parked the car, and as soon as I parked, and you guys have seen my Camry, it's an 85. So when you smell burning electronics in a 40-year-old car, you start to wonder, oh crap, what the heck did I just do? And I'm looking, I don't see anything. I open the trunk and, you know, just billowing smoke. And check out the motor there. She's looking a little on the crispy side. I don't know what happened. I don't know why that motor burnt up. It literally just went up in flames. There were flames shooting out of it. Look at that armature. It is absolutely cooked. I mean, there were literally smoke and flames shooting out to the point where it cooked the inside of the body. The flames came up that high, and you can see right through the white paint. Man, and it stinks. It reeks. You know that burning electronic smell? It reeks. This reeks. This reeks. Obviously, I'm going to put a new motor in this. I don't know. I got to fix this somehow. I got an idea for a video. Maybe we can fix that. But Actually, I know we can fix that. I don't think it got too bad up here, and I don't think it made the Lexan super brittle. That's repairable. We can fix that. We can always drop a new motor in. But my question is why? Why did the motor go up? Very unusual. These are pretty reliable motors. I've had hundreds of them throughout the years, and I've never had one go up like this. So if any of you have experienced that, let me know in the comments below, because I'd be really curious to try and understand what happened to that. I just ran it on a 2S LiPo, 5,000 and a 5,200 milliamp. And although I did a couple full speed passes, I didn't do too many. I was filming the whole time, right? So you film a shot, you stop, you adjust your camera, you do this, you double check, make sure it was a good shot. Like it had a lot of time to cool down. It was a cool day. One theory that I have, though, is that the pinion gear that comes with this thing, it's a 29 tooth pinion gear, and that's a big pinion gear. And I'm not a gear ratio specialist. Math was never my strong suit. So I'm not about to go calculate gear ratios and find out, if it's over geared or not. But, Tamiya does all that thinking for you, and they give you conservative gear ratios right out of the manual. So that's the kit supplied pinion that's in there. Kit supplied everything other than the ESC, obviously the electronics. So I'm curious why that motor burnt up. I was thinking maybe since I had the motor wires zip tied right here to the chassis, maybe they shorted out on each other, but there's no signs of arcing or anything on the motor wires, so they weren't shorting out on each other. No idea. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And what is smoking here? This isn't good. Looks like my motor's going up in smoke. Look at that. This is real time, folks. I just got home after running this thing to make a video for you guys. I got out of my vehicle and I can smell smoke. And there's my motor. I have no idea what happened to this motor, but look at that. It is torched. What the heck happened? That's a brand new motor. That's the motor that came with the kit. Look, it was going up so bad it yellowed the body. Look at that. Unreal. I have never had that happen before. As for the positives on this chassis, there are some, and I do want to talk about those as well. Something I never thought I'd say. Friction shocks that actually don't totally suck. The kit supplied friction shocks are Tamiya friction shocks. Now, they're nothing to write home about. However, with the battery in here, they actually stick pretty good. Sorry about all the jiggling there. But I wanted to illustrate the fact that they actually stick the car to the ground pretty good. It's such a short wheelbase, and the weight of a 2-cell 5,000 milliamp pack, it worked well. It actually handled pretty good. So if you are on a budget and you're thinking about what upgrades do I have to do, I'd say definitely go with bearings. Friction shocks could be an upgrade down the road. This is still pretty functional as is. Another pro to this kit is the body. It is gorgeous, and I know it's been out there before in the M series chassis, but this is a gorgeous body. And just driving around filming, going to a few different locations over a couple of different days, it was really funny how many people were like, wow, what is that? Is that an Alfa? Oh my gosh. And just random strangers coming up to me as soon as they recognized the Alfa grill. It was a great conversation starter. So this body really does look nice. It shows very well. And I think that's definitely one of the pros of this chassis. Another positive about this chassis is that it is tough. I'm in a skate park. I'm riding half pipes. Well, not half pipes, but, big quarter ramps and whatever the heck you call them, riding in bowls. It took its fair share of wipeouts, rollovers, lumps, catching air, landing hard. And, I don't even think I really scratched the bottom of the chassis very much. A couple little scrapes in the back, a couple little scrapes in the front, but overall the chassis walks out basically unscathed. So definitely strong, definitely sloppy. Sounds like my ex-wife. Oh, I can't say that. So part of me thinks that we might be able to salvage the drivability of this thing by making it front wheel drive. So I think what we got to do is convert this to a front wheel drive and get it back out and see how it performs. Let's give that a whirl. Now, after reading the manual and how to switch this thing from the rear-wheel drive layout to the front-wheel drive, it's actually pretty cool. The chassis is going to stay basically how it is. The motor is going to stay right where it is, but the rear of the car is now going to become the front of the car. Sounds kind of funky, doesn't it? How are we going to make that happen, Phil? Well, let's get it going. First things first, we got to get this bumper off. From there, we've just got a couple of screws to remove to get this cover off and expose the differential. Pop off these upper arms. And with that opened up, we can grab our diff, slide our diff out. Now, by flipping your diff, just like that, pop it right back in. Now with the diff flipped over, the wheels will go the way we need them to. Pretty neat design, Tamiya. Next step wouldn't be necessary if you didn't blow up your motor. I did. So let's get this motor out and get it replaced with another factory replacement unit. Yeah, she got a little hot. She may have burnt the inside of that motor mount a little bit. Ay, ay, ay. 2 screws at the bottom to hold the transmission. And we have a new motor. That is one of the coolest things about this kit, is just that versatility and the ease of workability, I guess you'd say, too. 2 screws to get a gearbox and a motor out, pretty unheard of. So that is pretty rad. Next step, I'm going to disconnect this long steering linkage because we don't need this anymore. The steering servo is going to stay in the same spot, but we're going to use a shorter linkage, this little fella right here, that comes in the kit. Easy peasy. So now you may be wondering, what the heck, right? We've got steering, which is now essentially in the rear of the vehicle. Really cool design element. We're going to take the steering apparatus, take the rear, kind of switch the two around. So now what was the rear of the car will be the front of the car and have steering. That guy goes like that. This guy goes off, so now we just quick little switcherooski. You know what? Before we do that, let's do this. Let's get these upper camber links on. Drop that little cat there. And now that the once front wheels are now your rear wheels, if you had toe out on the front, you're going to want toe in the rear. So these upper links, which are, I called them camber links earlier, they're really kind of like a toe, like adjustment toe link now. So you can toe in your rear wheels with these links, which is kind of cool. And then now with the front, which was the rear, if I had the rear wheels towed in, now I want to tow them back out. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's focus on this for now. Just like that. And then we're going to take what are now our steering links, and we are going to attach them. And then we're going to use the kit provided short steering linkage arm, which by the looks of things, I think maybe I have to move my servo around. Yes, I do. So let's do that. And when you do that, you're going to have to flip your servo horn around. Now is a great time to retrim if necessary. Like that. Pop this cap back on. And voila. That took about 7 or 8 minutes, and our rear-wheel drive car is now a front-wheel drive car. Now, when talking about pros and cons of this chassis, this is definitely a pro. what was that? 6 screws? That was so easy. 2 screws to get a transmission out, 2 screws to get a servo out. Everything's very accessible, really, really easy to work on. So the front wheel drive conversion is done. I'm going to put a fresh battery in here, get the body on, go get some testing done on this bad boy. Just want to, I just want to be fair with the MB-01. I don't want to beat up on it because I had a pretty bad taste in my mouth after that first run. Let's see how she fares out here. We've got a little bit of moisture starting to accumulate on the pavement, but it's not that wet yet. Definitely not as wet as it was during the running video. But let's get out there and see how she does. All right, real quick first impressions. Wow, way better in front wheel drive. No joke, guys, check this footage out, like every single time. Yeah, I would just hit the gas 3/4 of the way, the back end would just kick right out. When I was in the rear wheel drive configuration, it was driving me nuts. And again, mind you, the roads were a lot wetter. Okay, it's a lot drier out here right now than it was when I filmed that. But this front wheel drive configuration almost seems to eliminate all of the issues with the slop, because when you're pulling the rear end, it just seems to want to track straighter, versus when you're pushing the rear end, it just tracks all over the place. Those kind of slalom shots you see here where I'm kind of zigging in and out, I could not do that in the rear wheel drive configuration with the motor down. Yeah, no joke, guys. It's a completely different world driving it in the front wheel drive configuration. It is so much more planted. If you're gonna get this chassis, I would recommend, I mean, you can try all the different configurations out there. Again, I didn't try the rear motor or rear wheel drive with the high motor. Just seems like it's gonna have way too high a center of gravity. If the rear wheel drive low motor would roll over, I couldn't imagine putting it up any higher, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that, like, the suspension even works nice. What a difference that makes. Holy cow. I thought I'd given up on the MB-01, but after switching it to front wheel drive, we got something going on here. This thing's pretty cool. But anyway, guys, listen, I hope you guys found this all informative. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comment section below. Always happy to get back to each one of you guys. Throw down a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. It would mean a ton to this little channel. And until next time, be excellent to each other.